Okay, Grant, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some natural plant communities here in the marsh. And we're going to first look at a healthy marsh in the high marsh system, and then we'll look at the Phragmites habitat afterwards, and we'll compare how similar and different they are, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. This looks like a good spot right here to show the diversity of a high marsh system. Let's take a quick peek. Now, look around at all these different patterns on the marsh. How many different species of plants do you see? How many different kinds of plants do you see? And you don't have to know their names.
Well,
take a guess.
I see 1,
okay,
2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, that's pretty good. It turns out there's probably as many as 12 or 13 species of grasses and herbs right in here. One of my favorites is right here. Looks like it got broken off.
Yeah.
It's a seaside goldenrod, and it likes to grow in the high marsh. And we have some spike grass here. You can see why it's pretty spiky. Yeah, it's pretty spiky. And here's some sea milkwort. It's a real nice one. And all these plants people don't usually see from a distance, but when you get down into the marsh and you look at the diversity, the different types of plants, it's pretty exciting. Here's another one of my favorites. And it's got a great smell. We'll break some up. Can you smell that?
Smells like mint.
Yeah, or cilantro. It's very aromatic, so people really like this one. All these native plants in the high marsh, they have roots that are fairly shallow in the marsh. That's why we brought the shovel today, to dig up some marsh and take a look at the mud, or the peat as they call it, okay? Here's a nice block of marsh peat. Look at all the water it holds.
My.
Right? Would you like to hold some? There you go. Now squeeze that. All right, so all that dead plant material holds water in the marsh. And when the seawater comes up over the marsh, the salty seawater stays trapped in the peat and the roots. Okay? So here's native marsh peat and the native roots. We're going to take a look in a few minutes at Phragmites, and we'll see how far that plant's roots go down, because it's very different. All right, so here we are in that same high marsh, but now we have a new plant, the plant that we're most interested in out here. This is Phragmites, as you know. And in other parts of Great Marsh, in other parts of the country, this can grow over 20 feet tall. So these are really,
wow.
Yeah, I know. These are pretty small ones. And that's what's a big concern out here, is we have little small Phragmites plants popping up in places in the marsh that we don't expect it, and we certainly don't want it. All right? So it's a very competitive plant, and it's really a grass, you know?
Yeah.
So you can see how brittle it is, but its real secret is underground. It's got really long roots that run along and go very, very deep. So let's dig a hole and see if we can kind of test our hypothesis.
Okay.
All right. Now, this stuff's a little tough to dig up, but luckily it's a small stand. Let's make way. I'm going to lay this peat right down here. That's part of it. I'm going to get the rest of it. There we go. You remember our native marsh grass that we dug up before?
Yep.
Well, this is much deeper down, and you see some big roots. You want to pull that root out of the bottom?
Sure.
It's called a rhizome. It's a little piece we broke off with a shovel. This runs along the ground like this and puts shoots down that way, and it'll put stems up this way. Go ahead and try and break that. Pretty tough stuff, right? Well, yeah. So this little piece of rhizome or root, this little piece can break off and drift to a different part of the marsh and start a whole new plant.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're really concerned about how deep this can root and how far over the surface it can run, and it can get to water and nutrients that are deeper than the marsh grasses that we want to preserve in Great Marsh.
Wow.
Yeah. So, ooh, here's a good one. Look at this.
Ooh.
So every time we dig into this peat, we find more. Well, I would say that we've done a pretty good job finding evidence that Phragmites can root a lot deeper than the native grasses. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. Let's head out to the rest of the marsh and see what else we can find.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna put this stuff back and we'll get to the next site. Come on, let's head out.